Hello and welcome to week 10 of Stir Crazy Art Class with Gerald Savine, lesson number 45. We'll be continuing the painting of the trees that we started on session 43 and 44. You can look over here. If you remember that when we finished last time, we'd had some colour on here. We got this painted and these painted. And I said to you, look at the picture over here and I want you to try and get all this area done by now, so that we can go in to do the more complicated bits. I hope you have managed to do some work in the time. What we're going to do first of all is we're going to do the conifer trees here. You can see them over here. We'll try and give the effect. Can you see that they're all going sort of up with a bit of a curve in them, they're going uphill. So what I'm going to be doing, because they're a dark green, I'm going to be using sap green again as ever as a base colour, and I'm going to bring in some ultramarine blue again, just to take the colour down so it gets a bit darker. I hope you can see this. The light outside is really quite strong today, and then we have lighting on in here just to help to things along. Now we don't want it to be too dark at the moment because we wanted some of the darker colouring to come in to give this bit more of the shaping and the shadowing one against the other. Now then we've got that colour mixed up quite nicely. I'm not sure that's going to be enough. I'm going to just be on the safe side. I'm going to mix up some more to go with it because there's quite a bit of tree there, or trees, conifer trees. So again I'm bringing some more ultramarine blue in. Just wipe it down. Now I'll try to avoid wasting paint, but I'm going to wash my brush out, get most of the water off, and I'm going to start picking up the colour on the tip of the brush. Okay, now I'm using a number 6 here so we can cover quite a big area. Starting with the ones at the back, I'm going to bring the colour, let's thin that down a little bit on the tip of the brush. I'm going to pull the colour up at an angle. Can you see just that slight curve to it? It's not too bad a colour actually for the conifer trees that are there. So I'll try and be as quick as I can. It's amazing how quickly time goes. Now although we're doing one directly next door to it, let's make it a little bit, as we pull the colour up, it might just thin down a bit, so that's not bad thing to do. But again, it's important how you put the paint on the paper, because as it will show up, even when you thin it right down, it begins to show up, and you can see the shapes of the branches of the conifer tree as it comes up. And again, because it's got thinner in places as you've pulled the colour up, you just see how it's just beginning to work. Now that one's in front of that one. There's a little bit of water on the brush. It flows off a little bit better. Again here, just coming up. What I'll do is I'll just do these ones, the ones that are over here. I will do after the class is finished, but again this should give you some idea of what to do and how to do it. And there's some through the back here as well. So again I'm going to make those quite dark at the back. In front of this tree here, hopefully just beginning to sort of see the shapes of the conifer trees behind as well. Now what I'm going to do here is I'm going to bring a bit more blue in, and I'm just going to work up around this edge of this one here. Again, just pulling the colour up and round, and again I'll do the same here. So just give a bit of shaping to the trees. Just beginning to get a feeling. Can you see that, how that's working? Again here I've got a bit more pigment on, a bit more on the end of the brush. coming a bit darker in here again. This is the original mix, but because there's more paint on the brush, it's got darker. Again, as I always say, one of the things about watercolour painting, you almost get a different colour depending on how much pigment's on your brush when you do it. But can you see how they've, how you can see the difference between the trees that are there? And again, we'd work your way around and finish those ones off over there. Now, what I want to do now very quickly is begin to look at this one here. Now, it's quite complicated. If you look at the photograph here, can you see? Now the blue there, because there's quite a bit of blue in that here. This sort of the green here is quite blue. That's more. It's more like the cerulean blue, which in fact, when I did these ones up here on the painting, I used the cerulean blue with the green rather than the ultramarine. And again here, where it's quite thin, the colouring quite light. I'll bring in a bit of lemon yellow into the green as well, but again, initially putting it on quite thinly, and then we can gradually build up more and more pigment and more colour to give the shapings of the things that are there. But anyway, we'll crack on with this. Now I'm going to put that pot down. It's useful to have more than one pot of water going. I've already got some cerulean blue marked out. I'm not sure how long we've got at the moment, but I'm sure that
9 minutes.
We've got another 9 minutes. Oh, that's good, so not so bad. Let's see how we can get all of this. Now then again here, I'm going to have to thin this down quite a lot. Now, so I'm going to come here and I'm going to, now that looks quite rich. So again, as I pull a little bit of water on the tip of the brush, and again here, at the moment we're just trying to give this bit of shaping of the shrub that's here. So can you see how I'm just sort of pulling the colour like that, give a bit of character. As we put more and more colour on, we'll notice even more and more. So this is a base to get the thing going, but even at this stage, not just going to bash the colour on. We're putting little strokes in, taking sort of the curvature that the plant's creating. Over this side would be going the other way. It's not so easy. When you do it, I won't be able to do this, but when you do it, you'll be able to turn your pad around or your paper around. Be careful, don't get it too thick at the moment. We want to keep it fairly light because we can then build up the colour and build up the shapes. Now again here, for the sake of getting things done, I will be as quick as I can and not do the whole thing. But we're starting off with the mix of a thin green, of the sap green and cerulean blue to give this. Now remember, this is a background colour, so this will be adding a lot more colour to give us shaping to the shrub that's here. Again, I'm just looking across over here, and again it's sort of coming down. And again later, as we will see, we'll be putting shadows and things underneath here. Now what I'm doing now is I'm going to bring up some lemon yellow. Again, I'm mixing that up in here. Because it's going to be, again, quite thin to start off with, I'm keeping it fairly wet. And again, just not too much pigment at the moment so we don't waste any colour. Now here again, this side of the shrub, the colour changes. Now again, remember this is the undercoating, as it were, onto which we will put stronger colouring as we build up the. Again here, we're coming round the. We can just try and change a little bit of the shape there where we've come up against the conifer trees, so we can work the colour in. But again here, we're going to be coming round more this way. Again, when you see if you have another look at the original photograph, you'll get some idea of how the shrub is working. I'll try and work down quite quickly now. Nice to get some of the additional colouring on. Now I won't come right across the other side for the moment. Under here is quite dark, so I'm not going to touch that at the moment. There's a bit of character. When you look at the photograph, you'll see there's quite a bit of character here. And try and again, it's just so important how you put your brush down, as it gives a feeling of the shapes. So it makes like at the end of the day, it helps. I'm beginning to run out of colour here anyway. I'm going to need to watch the time still. What I'm going to do now, very, very quickly, is I'm going to now begin to go back into this side. I'm going to pick up some sap green. So I've got a bit more colour. Now then, I've been using number 6 brush. I'm going to wash that out. I want a bit more control, so I'm going to go to my number 4 brush. So it's a little bit thinner, because I need to try and get a bit more character in now. A bit more blue into that, I think. Tip of the brush, don't get the brush smothered in paint. I'm just going to again here, again we're not doing a photograph, so we're just trying to give a feeling of how the shrub is. So again here I'm just bringing this round, I'm trying to see the colour. I could do a bit more blue in that, I think. Don't get too heavy-handed too quickly. Always build the thing up. A bit more blue still. So again, the beauty is you can just begin to add things in. Now remember, this is kind of where if you would say the shadow is, it creates the feeling, the shapes of the shrubs themselves. I hope this is beginning to give you some idea of what's going on. I know there's many different, excuse me, there can be different sorts of ways of painting trees and things, but this is just beginning to give a feel more of what's going on. I'm just looking at here, places now a little bit stronger colouring. I'm sure we're going to be running out of time shortly. What I haven't tackled at the moment is this tree up here. We'll come back to that later. I wanted to get a bit of colour into this. Again, bear in mind, this is to give you some idea how to tackle the painting and how to tackle the composition. Again, it's up to you to make the time. So we've only have around about 15 minutes each session. Now down here is quite much darker, so I'm going to bring in a little bit of the other green that I used in the conifer trees there. So I've got that to hand. I want a waste colour. And again here, it again highlights. Can you see how it's highlighting that there? And also obviously because there's more shadow down here, as the shrub overhangs onto the ground below. I've got a horrible feeling we're running out of time any moment now. Alright, so it's not too bad. Now again, I'm just going to dab some colour down here, just to get it grounded. You might have noticed I did the grass here. This bit here, by the way, while I'm at it, that's raised up, and can you see how it curves down into a flat here? Again, it's just the way you take the paintbrush, made more pigment here, so it's made it darker, and it comes down the hill here, and so you get more shadow coming underneath the shrub. But can you see it just beginning to get some shape to it? And again here I'm using the darker green to get it to work. Now this actually doesn't come right down to ground level, the lighter green colour. But again here, right, okay, well look, we're coming to the end of this session. It doesn't take long, does it? We'll say goodbye for now, and we'll carry on with the next session, in session later on.